Flashback.
Yo, bro, I know it's been a rough month for Destiny. Rent's due. You gotta pay it.
Let me see what I got. This is what I got for now.
$1.
I'll have more at some point.
Let's go make some real money.
Where are we going?
Destiny. Are you ready for this?
I didn't know what that is.
Comrade! Let's go make some money!
Let's make some money.
Let's make some money, baby.
Let's do it.
You drive.
Get in the front and let back this one. So you gonna tell me where we're going? You know? For what?
Make some big boy money.
Let's make some money. Let's make some money.
Everybody hit the floor!
All of it. Hurry before they call the cops. Stevie, we gotta go. We gotta go. Heck it up! We gotta go!
You'd think that after one successful heist and making $300,000 that we'd be content going back to normal life abiding by the law. But unfortunately, there's no such thing as only one heist. Sweat and I headed to the airport. $300,000 in the trunk. We knew we should head home, but we kinda got a taste of how much money we could make with heisting. So we did what any normal heister would do. We turned around and planned for the next heist. Once we get back to the hideout, they start briefing us on what's next. Joy and Pearl are there to meet us, two brand new heisters that are not only ruthless, but they never fail at getting the job done. I throw back on the Big Apple mask, the suit to match, and the red gloves. I pick up my Statue of Liberty green gun and I'm ready to go. This time we had our sights set not on a bank, but somewhere that would attract much less attention. A New York harbor. Apparently there was a shipment of experimental electronic equipment sitting in a cargo dock in the specific harbor. The components were part of a deal with the Wixia Corporation, which was worth a lot of money. Between $300,000 and $600,000 to be exact. The only difference about this heist is that we're not taking pure cash, there's a catch. The clock starts ticking the second the components are out in the open. The longer we take to secure them, the more the components are going to degrade. That means that it was a race to steal the parts as quickly as possible. Now that we were all briefed, it was time to take on another heist. We start scoping out everything and we instantly realize this is going to be a much tougher heist than we initially thought. We start walking around the harbor trying to act as naturally as we can. We get to the gate and we see our first security guard. I make sure that this time Sweat doesn't go guns blazing and decide that this time we're going to try to pull off this heist without having NYPD on our tails. We know that it's risking everything, but we decide that this is the best way to pull off the heist as quietly as possible. This means that once we get to the guard, we need to hack his phone. It's risky, but all of this is risky. The guard scolds us, but lucky for us, he's gonna let us off with a warning and begins to walk us out. As he does, we stay as close to his phone as possible and we begin to hack it. We successfully hack into his phone just as he finishes walking us out. We now have access to super important information that's gonna really be vital for helping us pull off this heist. Before, we were struggling to figure out how to get into the warehouse undetected, but now we had our in. The answer was actually the semi-truck. We open up the doors and put our masks on as we enter in through the back of the truck. Much easier than trying to get in through the gate or through any of the doors. Once we're inside, we need to figure out how to prepare the refrigerated truck. After all, we're gonna need to keep the parts cool whenever we find them. We get to the truck and we quickly realize there's no liquid nitrogen coolant in the truck. That's gonna be a huge issue, and if we can't figure out where to find some nitrogen, this could mark the end of the heist. We start looking around as we are told by our intel that they keep liquid nitrogen in the warehouse. We look and look everywhere in the warehouse to no avail. We decide to go into the office upstairs to see if we can learn any new details. Before we can learn anything, we see that the room has a security camera and we quickly hug the wall. Despite hacking into the guard's phone, the security cameras could still be a huge problem if not dealt with. Acting as quickly as we can, Sweat hacks into the security camera, which allows us to move freely within the room. I walk across the upstairs walkway, continuing our search, and I'm met with another security camera. We gotta hack it quickly, which means it's my time to shine. Unfortunately, unlike the last camera, this time I fail to hack it and we end up getting found out instantly. I'm actually the worst robber on the planet. Now the alarms are going off and we know that the cops will have the place surrounded before we know it. We keep looking for the liquid nitrogen to no avail. We start hearing sirens and unfortunately the cops are already here. I grab one of the guards as a hostage and trade him with the cops to delay the incoming assault. As I'm doing that, Sweat finds the liquid nitrogen coolant that we were looking for. Things were finally starting to look up for us. We deposit the nitrogen coolant into the truck. The refrigerated truck is now ready to keep our small fortune preserved. I drop off the hostage that I took and now we quickly need to find the computer and hack it, or else we're not going to get much further than we are now. Lucky for us, we have the credentials due to hacking the security guard's phone earlier. We just need to find the right computer. We keep looking for the computer and before we can find it, the cops are flying through the roof. It's kill or be killed at this point. We hold them off as best as we can. After some more looking and picking the lock to another room, we finally find the right computer. All that's left to do is hack it and go secure our goods. Unfortunately, the computer takes forever to hack. Now that the computer is hacked, we know exactly which bunker and yard we need to go into in order to find our prize. We start looking for the east yard. Thanks to our intel, it won't be too hard to get there, but finding the bunker A89 is still going to be pretty challenging with all of the cargo bunkers. We set up the zip line on top of one of the parked trucks. I had always wanted to go ziplining, but this isn't exactly what I had in mind. No time to think twice though, and I jump and zoom across the yard. We get shot at as we do, but luckily the cops couldn't hit the side of a barn if they were in it. We start our search for the bunker that we need. While looking, we get word that there's an additional bunker with a bunch of cash in it if we want to take the risk to secure it. Obviously we do, and we take the time to find that additional bunker and we open it up. After we pick the lock, we take all the cash that's inside. A nice little bonus for our efforts. After we find the actual bunker we're looking for, we quickly realize that we're going to need a thermite to ignite it if we're going to access it. After fighting off a ton of cops, we're able to secure one and all that's left is bringing it back to the bunker. We get there and I set the thermite on the door. I light it as quickly as I can. It's time to burn right through it. Before we know it, the bunker is open and we only have one more lock to pick before we can access the electronic equipment. Unfortunately, picking the lock doesn't work and we have to bypass the internal security a different way. Luckily, with our intel, we're able to bypass it in almost no time at all. And within a few minutes, we were in and grabbed all the goods. Next was the most important part of the heist by far, running the parts into the refrigerated truck as quickly as possible. With every second, the parts lose value. It was gonna be an all-out sprint. We make it to the truck and just like that, we had our first set of components safely secured in the truck. We did the same process for the other set of components as well. We were able to find the bunker without many problems and once again we were able to bypass the internal security. I pick up the parts and once again it's an all-out race to get back to the truck before the parts completely lose value. I make it to the truck and deposit the last set of components and we're finally in the home stretch of the heist. All that's left is setting up a spike strip so that when we make our getaway, the cops can't follow us. We lay the spike strip and it's finally time to make our getaway. Unfortunately, the getaway doesn't go as planned when one of our guys gets downed and we have to go back for him. No heister left behind. We fight our way back to rescue him and carry him to the escape point. After that, we made our getaway successfully robbing the harbor. Thanks to the extra cash that we picked up as well as securing the components, we were able to secure $806,000. Sweat and I are going to be eating good for a very long time. And that's the story of how we robbed the New York Harbor. Make sure to play PayDay 3 when it releases September 21st for PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. I had a blast. Thanks for watching.